with Anik.
Patricio, it's an honor to speak to you. You've represented
Thanks.
Brazil so well throughout your career. I'm wondering, after fighting, what is your goal to, help the people of Brazil? Do you have any ideas or plans?
Quais são os planos depois de uma carreira representando o Brasil como campeão mundial? Qual é o seu plano para o povo do Brasil?
Tentar colocar atletas no mesmo caminho que eu trilhei e já trabalho nisso há algum tempo, junto com a Pitbull Brothers, meu irmão e o meu professor Eric e os demais da equipe.
I'm gonna keep putting fighters out there representing Brazil to become champions. I'm already doing that with Captain Eric and my brother Patricio Pitbull.
Yeah. And one more from me. I'm wondering, do you get more nervous when you fight or when your brother fights?
When my brother fights, for sure.
Awesome, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Harry Davies.
Hey, Patricio, I just wanted to ask, how frustrating was it to be out in Saudi Arabia for the championship card and not actually get the fight in the end?
Fala sobre a frustração sobre o que aconteceu em Saudita Arábia.
Faz parte, às vezes shit happens and we have to keep working. That's it.
And obviously, you've built a great staple at your gym in Brazil. I mentioned with Captain Eric earlier, the likes of the Idrisov brothers that have helped you out. How good is it to have such a good foundation there to prepare you for these big fights?
Ele falou, você tem base muito bom lá no Pitbull Brothers e já falou sobre os gêmeos de Cazaquistão com o Leandro. Fala sobre isso que está acontecendo em Natal.
No Brasil, antigamente nós tínhamos que ir para São Paulo e Rio de Janeiro, e hoje está sendo diferente. Vem pessoas do Rio de Janeiro e São Paulo para o Nordeste do Brasil para treinar e se preparar na melhor equipe do mundo, que é a Pitbull Brothers. A gente está trabalhando para isso. Vem gente da França, dos Estados Unidos, Canadá, Argentina, Colômbia, de todos os lugares, Japão. Então, a gente está com um trabalho que já iniciou desde 2011, mas a gente segue em passos firmes para conseguir esse objetivo.
We've been in this game since 2011 and we have
As a team.
And we have people coming from Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo. The Pitbull Brothers Natal is where the world comes to train. We have Japan there, Argentina, Colombia, Kazakhstan. So fighters from all around the world are coming to train with the #1 team in the world and the Pitbull Brothers.
Thank you, Patricio. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Keelan McNamara.
Good afternoon, Patricio. Great to speak to you. Firstly, my first question is for you, Patricio. You fought all over the world and pretty much everywhere anybody can name. My question is, how's your experience been at Belfast so far compared to everywhere else you've been?
Fala sobre sua experiência aqui em Belfast, desde os outros lugares que você já lutou.
Eu não sei, estou esperando para o dia da luta. Espero que se repita aqui o que se repetiu na luta do meu irmão contra Peter Quille lá em Dublin. Foi a melhor torcida que eu vi na minha vida e acredito que aqui tem a mesma energia.
Let's see what happens on Friday. You know, when my brother beat Patricio Quille, it was Peter Quille. When my Patricio Pitbull beat Peter, it was the greatest fans I have ever heard. They were so loud, so I'm expecting something similar to that on Friday.
Absolutely. And then my next question for you, Patricio, is obviously you've got a really, really tough matchup here against a hometown favorite in Carl Moore. Assuming you get past Carl on Friday night, what do you think this does for your legacy? And should you beat Carl Moore, do you have an idea of what's next for you after this?
It's against Jeremy Kennedy, sorry.
He's fighting Jeremy Kennedy.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Apologies, I got you mixed up with Corey. Assuming that you are next against Jeremy Kennedy and assuming you beat him, what is next for you after this fight? Do you have an idea of who you'd like to face next? And what does a win against Jeremy do for your legacy?
I believe Pico is the next one.
E ganhando Jeremy Kennedy faz que para sua legacy.
Eu tenho mais a perder do que ganhar. Eu preciso bater nesse cara porque, pô, tem que manter meu legado vivo.
I have more to lose than to gain fighting Jeremy Kennedy because my legacy is on the line and I need to maintain that.
É por causa disso que eu não vou dar espaço para ele.
And because of that, I'm not going to give him an inch.
Sounds great. Patricio, thank you very much for your time and best of luck on Friday.
Thank you, my friend.
J.L. Curvin.
Hi, Patricio. You were the face of Bellator, the organization's most accomplished fighter. Just curious, just what still drives you to keep fighting? And as Bellator enters a new chapter, just what excites you most as you continue to lead this company into a new era?
Bater recordes, lutar contra campeões de outras organizações e ser lembrado por resto da história do esporte.
Breaking records, fighting champions in other promotions, and making sure my name is written in stone.
And then there's always this assumption with fighters when they get into their mid-30s that they're slowing down. You're still at the top of your game. Just what do you credit that to, and what do you think has gone into being able to prolong your prime as a fighter?
Como você está lutando no alto nível, número 1 do mundo ainda depois de 10 anos? Ou porque você ainda está no top desse jogo? Acredito para quê? A quem?
Quando eu e John Jones morrer, vocês pegam nossos corpos e dessecam igual os extraterrestres e estudem, eu não sei porquê. Só eu e ele pode fazer isso. Durante uma década permanecer campeão. Corpos, body.
When John Jones and I die, you guys should is it research?
Estudar o corpo.
Study our bodies because we're the only ones that have been able to maintain at this level of being world champions for over a decade. I don't know why how I've been able to accomplish this and stay at the top for so long, basically since 2014, and it's 2024. That's 10 years.
Yeah, a lot of fighters don't, make it that long, let alone stay at the top that long. So appreciate the time. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Mike Pendleton.
This question is actually for Captain Eric. I don't know if you'll remember this, but you and I spoke prior to the fight in Chicago, and you told me the speech you had written down in your phone for Patricio. Coming into this fight, where is his legacy for you amongst all fighters whom you have coached and worked with? And what does adding to this with a fight against Jeremy Kennedy do for him, in your opinion?
Having coached a couple of champs with Henry and Cejudo, and being in camps with guys like Figueiredo, Wei Lee, John Jones came to Fight Ready before his last fight, and I went to his camp right before he fought Gane the last week. And, when it comes to talent and will and someone who's a black belt in every area of the game, it's Patricio Pitbull. I don't think there's anybody better. And yeah, he's right up there with John Jones, right up there on Goat Mountain. And, I said, had he beaten when he went for that third title, he was going to be not on Goat Mountain. He was going to be on an island of his own. And I think that what happened in Chicago is a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to get that back. and the first step to that is Jeremy Kennedy. So it's getting back in the win column for the Bellator GOAT. You know, now that Bellator, there will never ever be anybody to surpass the Bellator GOAT, because now we're in a new home. So from the Bellator, from when Patricio started with MTV2 and then MTV1, and I think he was on the Spanish channel. Then they were on Spike. Then they were on Paramount. Then they were on Showtime. And now we're on debuting on HBO Max. Patricio has been champion for all those. So
Não tem ninguém daquela era no Bellator, só eu. Ninguém. Nem atleta, nem ninguém que trabalha lá.
There's nobody from that era that is still on this roster.
I am Bellator. Eu sou o Bellator. Eu sou o próprio Bellator.
He is his
Eu
own
sou original.
Bellator. He is the OG. He's the OG, and I think Jeremy Kennedy can't take that away. And this is just one more fight, one more victory, one more for the record books. When you're the greatest fighter in Bellator history, they don't call you the Bellator GOAT. They call you Patricio Pitbull.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. And just Patricio, kind of off of that, what has having Captain Eric been like for you through, you know, in your time with him? And you just said it, and I absolutely love it. You are Bellator. And as we enter this, you know, so two-part question, Captain Eric, but also, what does this new era of Bellator represent for you in your career to be the guy representing this promotion as they make their next step?
Bom, eu só penso em continuar evoluindo, batendo nos caras novos para provar que eu ainda sou rei. Quero lutar contra os campeões de outras organizações. Infelizmente não pude lutar contra Jesus Pinedo, mas espero o campeão dessa temporada para bater nele também. Estou aberto a desafios de outras organizações. Quem sabe aí o campeão do 66 de outras promoções.
Beating all these guys from other promotions, you know, I'd like to get that Jesus Pinedo fight back. That fight was supposed to happen, it didn't happen, and I'm open to fighting every other 145-pounder in the world in other promotions. Ele perguntou falando, trabalhando com o capitão.
Com você? Durante todos esses anos, desde 2010 que eu conheci o Capitão Nati Nogueira, a gente tem evoluído muito, treinado bastante. A gente fez muitas conexões com todos os atletas de todo mundo. Então, o Capitão é uma peça-chave no meu treinamento. Ele sempre está trazendo caras de vários lugares diferentes e sempre está aprendendo truques novos. E é uma peça essencial no meu treinamento, com certeza.
Captain is essential to my evolution ever since Team Nogueira back in 2010, 13 years ago. He's bringing new tricks to the game. He's always traveling the world and bringing more fighters for us to train with to help our team evolve, and he's essential to the evolution of my game.
Thank you.
Adam Gillen.
Yeah, Patricio, do you feel a little bit added pressure based on your recent losing streak, or do you just use that as motivation?
Tá sentindo pressão pelas últimas duas derrotas, você está usando isso como motivação?
Bom, apesar das duas derrotas terem sido em categorias que não é a minha categoria original, e todo mundo sabia que eu estava com uma lesão grave na minha cervical, e depois dessa luta eu passei por uma cirurgia, eu me coloquei numa situação desde 2014 como campeão que eu vou estar sempre num ponto de pressão. Então, para mim, isso é o normal.
I live constantly under pressure. I put that pressure on myself ever since I became champion in 2014. Everybody knows that I had now everybody knows I had a cervical injury, a neck injury. fighting in two weight classes that were not mine at 135 and 155. But now I have the surgery. I had neck surgery and como tá sentindo agora com essa cirurgia?
Tô ótimo e tá sob pressão para mim é normal para mim.
I feel great after the neck surgery, and that pressure is a privilege, and that privilege is normal to me.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
MMA locker room.
Caralho, muito.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Captain? And how's it going, Patricky? MMA Locker Room, part of Pub Sports Radio. I want to give, first off, I want to give Patricio some respect. I think that his English is better than some of my own neighbors here in Long Beach, California.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's try to answer this one if you can, in that way, just if you can. It seems like you have a lot of experience already in tournaments. You was already able to win the Bellator tournament. Would you be having your eyes on setting up history and winning maybe the PFL tournament later on if that opportunity came?
I think you are talking about my brother. Who's talking to is Patricio. I'm gonna fight Kennedy.
Não, ele tá falando você já ganhou vários torneios de Bellator.
But
Sua legacia,
he's speaking about PFL.
Você quer
tournament.
entrar torneio de PFL ou Super Fights?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think about that. Quem vai lutar
No
no
worries.
GP agora, Patrick.
He hasn't really thought about tournaments because it's his brother that's in the PFL.
Eu não gosto, eu vou falar em português, que é muito, eu não gosto da maneira dos torneios do PFL, porque mesmo se você ganha, você não obrigatoriamente passa para a próxima etapa. Se você fizer uma guerra contra um campeão, um ex-campeão da temporada passada, e vocês lutarem 3 rounds de uma guerra, e um cara finalizar um bobão, ou qualquer lutador, no primeiro round, nocauteou esse cara fraco no primeiro round, ele pode passar para a próxima etapa e você que foi campeão da passada não passa. Então eu não vejo com bons olhos o GP. Mas meu irmão vai lutar.
I don't see myself wanting to enter those tournaments. As a champion, what if as a champion I go against another champion and I go to war with them for 3 rounds, and then some other guy on the other side takes out some weak guy with an easy knockout or easy submission, and he passes and the champion doesn't. So I really don't like that, the way those rules are set in that tournament, and I don't see myself.
Então essa é uma chance que eu perco de ser campeão. Então para mim não faz sentido.
And so now as a champion, I could win and still not win the tournament, or a champion could win and still not win the tournament. So I don't see myself doing it. Doesn't make sense.
Thanks for letting us know. That's probably how some of the Bellator fighters are looking at it too as well.
But super fights, now if you're talking about super fights, that's something different. You know, there's a whole nother level in the PFL that includes super fights. I think that's something for somebody that's been a champion for 10 years. There's only him and John Jones in this whole game. I think next up would be the super fights. I believe the tournament is almost going down, not going up. And I think super fights is what would be next for somebody like a Patricio Pitbull. And who knows, it could be boxing. I know he's mentioned that to me. It could, I mean, I would throw a couple names out there, even somebody like a Jose Aldo who's coming back to get off of, he had to believe he only has one more fight in his contract, and that's why he's coming back for UFC Rio, and then he's a free agent. And being somebody that was with Patricio since 2010, there's a magazine with Patricio and Jose Aldo magazine cover with them both on it saying who was better. And that magazine cover is a few years old now, but maybe in the future there's still a chance to find out. What do you think?
Man, that sounds so wonderful. especially on a super fight like that with PFL, they're all about making big fights like that happen, and two bigger names. I mean, I don't think it gets any bigger in the Brazil background. That would definitely be one to watch. What about actually getting an event to take place in Brazil now? We've been talking about this for a couple of events now. We're fighting now in Ireland. We're fighting now in all these other countries and states. What would Bellator or PFL look like in Brazil?
Eu sou muito sincero, a minha resposta pode parecer frustrante para os fãs, para ele, para a organização, mas eu não acredito mais nisso. Já passei por todos os presidentes. O primeiro é Bjorn Hebney, Scott Cooker e agora Don Davis. E todo mundo falou que o Bellator vai para o Brasil, o Bellator vai para o Brasil, nós estamos trabalhando no Bellator vai para o Brasil, o Bellator nunca foi. Eu já estou há 14 anos no Bellator, já estou com 36 anos e o Bellator não foi. Então não conto com isso mais. Eu apenas sigo lutando e fazendo meu trabalho.
To be sincere, I've kind of given up on that dream. I've been told by 3 different owners of that they were gonna bring it to Brazil. First Bjorn Rebney, then Scott Coker, and now Don Davis. And it still hasn't happened. I'm 36 years old. I've been waiting for it to go to Brazil for 14 years. Me, my brother were champions. Many champions come from Brazil, but I'm just gonna, I don't see it happening since it hasn't happened yet. So I'm just gonna keep doing my job and continue moving forward.
Thanks. And I just want to say you always carry yourself as a professional inside, out the cage, as a true role model for everybody out there. So keep doing what you're doing. I love your legacy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up, and thank you so much for all the questions.
I was really hoping to ask Patricio a question, but damn.